You ever buy a gun so underwhelming you start questioning every decision that led you there? Maybe it was the hype. Maybe it was your buddy at the range who swore by it. Or maybe it was just Glock. Yeah, I said it. Look, Glock's fine. It's dependable. It's simple. It's like driving a Corolla with no air conditioning. It'll get you where you need to go, but you're not exactly grinning along the way. And in 2025, fine just doesn't cut it anymore. The Glock 19 might still be the industry benchmark, but these days, the market is stacked with pistols that make that plastic legend feel like a relic. We're talking optics-ready, compensated, steel-framed modular madness, and it's glorious. So today we're diving into 10 handguns that don't just compete with Glock, they embarrass it. This isn't about bashing polymer bricks, it's about showing you what happens when companies start caring about performance comfort and, actual innovation. Hit that like button if you're tired of pretending your Gen 3 still just works. Subscribe if you're ready to evolve. And hey, drop your favorite Glock killer in the comments. Let's get controversial. You ever scroll past a gun and stop like, wait, Kimber made that, yeah. The R7 Mako Carbon Compact isn't your grandpa's 1911. It's a punchy modern carry pistol that proves Kimber didn't just show up to the striker-fired game, they kicked the damn door in. I picked this one up out of curiosity and walked away impressed. It's not a gimmick. Kimber's taken the original Mako and upgraded the frame to carbon fiber reinforced polymer. Lighter, tougher, sexier. It's like Glock met a race car. Specs-wise, it's a 9mm Luger micro-compact with 11+1 and 13+1 mag options, fully ambidextrous controls, modular backstraps, flared magwell, flat-face trigger, RMSC-ready slide. Oh, and it comes stock with TrueGlow Tritium Pro Night sights. That's some grown-up stuff. At the range, this thing feels tight. The trigger's crisp, the grip locks in naturally, and recoil is minimal. It's controllable even when rapid firing with one hand. Lefties rejoice, Kimber didn't forget you. If Glock had built this, people would be calling it revolutionary. But since it says Kimber on the side, it gets unfairly overlooked. This gun is the tactical equivalent of showing up to a barbecue in a tuxedo and still out-grilling everybody. The Shadow Systems MR920 is like a Glock 19 that went to therapy, got shredded at the gym, and came back ready to take your lunch money. It's familiar but better in literally every way. I put this on the list because it's what Glock fans secretly wish their gun felt like. The MR920 isn't a clone, it's a full-blown glow-up. You've got directional slide serrations, window cuts, a spiral-fluted match-grade barrel, and a trigger that's flat-faced, short reset, and way too nice to be factory. Built on a Glock-compatible platform, this 9mm Luger holds 15+1 and plays nice with most Gen 3 holsters and mags. The grip module's been reworked with an aggressive texture, high beaver tail, and control edges for your support hand. The result? This thing stays planted like it's on rails. On the range, it shoots flat cycles smooth and feels custom, because it practically is. The optic cut accepts most major red dots without the aftermarket plate scavenger hunt. It's ready out of the box. If you've ever shot a Glock and thought, this is fine, I guess the MR920 is what you were actually looking for. Glock may have written the manual, but Shadow Systems rewrote it in bold ink. Shooting the Walther PDP Compact. Steel frame is like handing a surgeon a sledgehammer and watching him do heart surgery anyway. Precise, powerful, and completely overbuilt in the best way. It earned its spot here for one reason: shootability. Walther took their excellent PDP and ditched the polymer for a full steel frame. That added heft turns muzzle flip into a myth. The 4-inch match barrel, 15+1 capacity, and optics-ready slide just icing. It weighs around 38 ounces unloaded, which is heavy for a carry gun. But that's the point. The weight dampens recoil, improves follow-up accuracy, and makes transitions buttery smooth. The ergonomics are classic. Walther interchangeable backstraps. Intuitive, controls deep serrations, and a grip that feels molded to your hand. The trigger factory greatness. It's clean, consistent, and better than most guns that cost $300 more. Add the modular optic plate system and suppressor height sights, and you've got a pistol that punches way above its weight class. This isn't a starter pistol. It's for the shooter who knows exactly what they want and doesn't mind carrying a little extra steel to get it. The PDP compact steel frame doesn't just shoot better, it makes your other guns feel broken. The CZ P-09 Nocturne is the handgun equivalent of an old-school muscle car with a modern ECU classic lines, modern upgrades, and enough DASA goodness to make you forget striker-fired ever existed. I put this on the list because CZ finally gave the P-09 the one thing it always needed: an optics-ready slide. The original was a beast full-size grip, 19+1 capacity laser beam accuracy, but no red dot support. That was criminal. The Nocturne fixes that. You've got a choice of 4.5 or 3.75-inch barrels, co-witness iron sights, a redesigned grip texture that plants in your hand, and yes, still hammer-fired. That means long, deliberate first pull and crisp follow-ups. Some call that outdated. I call it deliberate. It's still 9mm Luger, still smooth as butter, and still built like a tank. The added optic support and frame refinements make it a sleeper pick for anyone who values mechanical precision over modular fluff. And let's be real, DASSA fans haven't had much to celebrate in the striker-fired era. The Nocturne is like a love letter to those who still appreciate deliberate control and honest trigger feel. Shooting this thing feels like driving a stick shift after years of automation. It demands more from you and rewards you for putting in the effort. If Glocks are Toyotas, the P-09. Nocturne is a Czech-built classic with real personality and a much better trigger. The P365 lineup was already the golden boy of concealed carry. Then SIG came along and dropped the FUSE pistol that asked, why choose between compact and full size when you can just cheat? I picked this one because it plugs a gap in the market Glock doesn't even acknowledge. The P365 FUSE sits right between micro and duty size, giving you full hand grip and real sight radius without turning your waistband into a war zone. It packs a 3-inch carbon steel barrel, overall length of 7.2 inches, and mags that go up to 21 rounds. Width sits at just over an inch, making it incredibly easy to conceal, even with a light mounted. And the undercut trigger guard and recontoured grip make it feel like it belongs in your hand, not just your waistband. Yes, 21 in a concealed carry gun. It's optics ready, has a flat-face trigger, and co-witness iron sights with the RMSC footprint. All factories, all tight. On the range, it feels like a cheat code. Slim enough to disappear under a t-shirt, but stable enough to run like a competition rig. The grip texture is smart, the frame angle's spot on, and slide serrations are deep enough to grab with gloves on in the rain. If Glock made a G19 Slim Pro Tactical Hybrid X, this would be it, except SIG already did it better and didn't charge extra for the cool name. The FUSE isn't subtle, it's a statement. Tactical, the FN509. Tactical doesn't sneak into the conversation. It body checks the door off its hinges and throws a suppressor on before you know what hit you. This gun made the list because it's basically a factory S-tier build that doesn't need a single upgrade. It's the pistol equivalent of fully modded threaded barrel suppressor height night sights, 17 or 24 round mags, and FN's low-profile optics mounting system that actually works. It's got a 5-inch barrel slide serrations deep enough to cut steak, and a grip texture that locks into your hand under recoil like it owes you rent money. And yes, this thing wants a can on the front. It balances better suppressed than some pistols do bone stock. On the range, it runs flat, feels confident, and makes fast strings of fire feel boringly easy. Controls are intuitive, ambi-friendly, and built like they belong on a rifle. You could deploy this thing or leave it in your nightstand. Either way, you'll sleep better. The barrel's cold hammer forged and threaded 1/28, so running it suppressed is plug and play. And unlike some budget optics cuts, FN's mounting system is rock solid under recoil 0, shifting even after a few hundred rounds. Compared to a Glock 19, this thing feels like comparing a tactical SUV to a rental Corolla. The FN509 Tactical isn't a sidearm, it's a damn toolbox. The HK VP9 has always been the sleeper pick, the pistol equivalent of a German engineer in dad shoes showing up to your track day and beating everyone. The new VP9A1, same DNA but tuned up like a factory-built sleeper AMG. I added it because HK finally tweaked the ergonomics and trigger while keeping everything that made the original great. It's still a 9mm Luger, still striker-fired, and still gives you 15+1 rounds with some of the best ergonomics on Earth, but now it feels sharper. Backstraps and side panels are still swappable, which means this gun can mold to your hand like wet cement. The optics-ready slide uses a new plate system that's tighter and more versatile, and the trigger-smooth take-up clean wall and a reset that snaps like an angry X. Recoil impulse is soft, and the balance is weirdly perfect. It's got that unexplainable HK feel, like it was built in a clean room by monks with laser calipers. It's not cheap, but neither is German engineering. You're not paying for hype, you're paying for execution. If Glock is your reliable commuter car, the VP9A1 is the high-speed train that makes you wonder why you ever drove yourself. Canik must be laundering money, because there's no way the TP9 SFx should cost what it does. This gun shoots like it's trying to convince you it's worth $1,200 and then smacks you with a price tag that starts under $600. I had to include it because for the price, it's almost unfair. You get a 5.2-inch match-grade barrel, 20+1 capacity fiber optic front sight, flared magwell multiple optic plates, 2 mags, extra back straps, and a flat-face trigger that breaks around 3.54 pounds all in the box. Meanwhile, Glock is still giving you plastic sights and a trigger that feels like a staple gun. This thing is long, sure, not built for concealed carry, but on the range, it dominates. Recoil is soft, muzzle flip is laughable, and the trigger reset is competition grade. It almost tricks you into thinking you're a better shooter than you actually are, which honestly isn't the worst thing. No, it doesn't have the brand snob factor. But what it does have is raw value and unapologetic performance. You could spend double and not shoot half as well. The TP9 SFx isn't trying to be a Glock killer. It's just out here disrespecting your entire safe. The Springfield Echelon 4.0C is what happens when engineers stop phoning it in and decide to rewrite the striker-fired rulebook, then light the old book on fire. This pistol made the cut because it's modular, optics-ready, ridiculously flat shooting, and honestly the most forward-thinking carry gun Springfield has ever released. It features the central operating group COG Think SIG FCU, but smoother. One serialized chassis that lets you move between frames, grips, and setups like you're building a loadout in a video game. The 4.0C version gives you a 4-inch hammer-forged barrel compact slide and full-size grip for max control. 17+1, flush 20+1 with extensions. The variable interface system lets you direct mount dozens of red dots with 0 plates, just drop it and go. Night Sight's tank tier slide serrations optional compensator. On the long version, it's all here. This gun shoots flatter than your best friend's mixtape. It points naturally, handles like a dream, and eats recoil like it's breakfast. You'll find yourself shooting tighter, faster groups without trying harder. It's not a Glock killer. It's the gun Glock would build if Glock had ambition. The Echelon doesn't just raise the bar, it steps over it and flips it the bird on the way out. And here we are, top of the mountain, the Staccato C2. If you've never shot a 2011 before, be warned, this gun will ruin every other striker-fired pistol you've ever owned. I picked the C2 as number 1 because it blends carry size with competition-level performance like nothing else on the market. It's a double-stack hammer-fired 9mm Luger with a 3.9-inch bull barrel and a 16+1 capacity. All-metal optics ready and smoother than butter on hot glass. The trigger is 1911 style magic short take-up crisp wall zero creep and a lightning-fast reset. Combine that with the low-bore axis full-length guide rod and aggressive grip texture, and you've got a gun that tracks like a laser. You don't shoot this thing, you command it. It's expensive. Let's not pretend otherwise. But every dollar buys you confidence, control, and craftsmanship. This isn't just a gun, it's a flex. And once you shoot it, good luck going back to polymer. It doesn't just outperform the Glock 19, it humiliates it. The Staccato C2 doesn't make excuses, it makes you better. At the end of the day, Glock isn't going anywhere, and that's fine. But just because something is reliable doesn't mean it's inspiring. The pistols on this list don't just go bang when you need them to, they do it with style control and a level of shootability that makes you rethink what good really means. You can keep riding the polymer nostalgia train, or you can step into the modern era and actually enjoy pulling the trigger. These aren't hype guns. They're tools made for shooters who demand more and expect their gear to evolve with them. Which one of these grabbed your attention? Which one did I totally miss? Let me know in the comments. I read them all, especially the angry ones from die-hard Glock fans. I'll check you later. And seriously, if you're still calling your stock Glock perfect, you either haven't tried better or you're just lying to yourself.